Can we get your first and last name?
Richard Christ.
Richard Christ. All right. Cody Marty. I'm here interviewing Richard Christ on welding. So how long have you been welding for?
I started out actually full-time when I was 15, and I welded up till I was 65 full-time, and then after that I just came out to the Votech and taught out here, and I have a little welding shop at home, so it's been, what, 65 years.
Wow, okay. It's quite a while. So why did you choose to be a welder?
I grew up with my grandfather, and he had a blacksmith shop. He was the old-time blacksmith, so I grew up with him, and I just picked up that trade, and then I just kept on going.
Okay. So where was this shop at?
It was in Leola, South Dakota, northwest of Aberdeen, about 40 miles.
What did you all make there mostly?
Most of the stuff we worked on at that time was farm equipment.
Okay.
And way back then, you know, we even did a little forge welding and stuff when I worked with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you remember your first time welding?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes, I do.
How was that?
I was really young then, but when I got started, I would take what they call ledger plates from a moor, and I just welded those together, hundreds and hundreds of them, and just weld them up and throw them out in the pile, weld them up. But that's what I first welded on.
Okay. And what kind of welding was that?
Just stick welding.
Stick welding?
Yep.
Did they have a lot of the other types of welding then?
No, they didn't.
Just stick welding.
A MIG welder, they were out there, but there wasn't a lot of shops that had those. And TIG welding was, you know, getting started and stuff, and it'd been around a while, but no, we just basically had the torch welding and the stick welding.
Okay. Okay. So was your granddad's shop your first welding job?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Stayed with him until I went in the service. And
Okay.
then came back and worked with him again.
Which service did you go into?
Navy.
Navy? Okay. And so what was your first job welding in the Navy?
You know,
He asked for.
I don't really remember that. I went to a couple schools and got out, and I can't really say what the first job was at that time that I did there.
Okay. So do you really remember how many jobs you've had welding?
Yeah. 3.
3.
Yep.
Is that including teaching here?
No.
No?
No, that doesn't include that.
Okay.
That doesn't include the military either, but yeah, I haven't been moving around very much.
Okay. So you had your granddad's shop, your first job with the military, and where did you go after that?
When I went from my grandfather, he got elderly, you know, and health and everything was bad, and so I came up to Rapid, worked for blast welding, and then I went to the air base and had a welding shop out there for the rest of my tour. I was out there 24 years.
24 years. Wow. What did you mostly weld while you were there?
At the base, we welded all the snow equipment and all of firefighting equipment, just anything on base that had to do with support of the B-52 and the B-1.
Okay. Right on. So having been in the welding industry for so many years, if you were interviewing someone for a job, what would you be looking for in them?
Well, you know, first impression is always big. But maybe somebody that has a little experience, but yet, depending on what I'm going to do, it's fun to kind of train somebody. But the biggest thing is somebody that's willing to work. You got to work. It's sometimes not the best job. It's a dirty job sometimes, but just more or less the individual, the impression of the person, plus experience is definitely good.
Right. But you don't want someone with so much experience they are a hothead, huh?
No.
Okay. So, where would you say that you worked that you were most satisfied with your welding job?
I would have to say, definitely would say with my grandfather, because I picked so much stuff up there. You know, I picked up the blacksmith trade with him. We sharpened plowshares, we set wagon wheels. He even shoe horses back then. Forge weld, did just all that kind of stuff. And I would have to say that's the best. Probably the next job was at the base. Was always busy and had some of the best equipment. Always kept up with anything that was new and everything. So that was a great job. I just loved that job.
Okay. And I'm going to back up a little bit because you said at your granddad's shop it was mostly just torch and stick. Do you remember your first time MIG welding?
Yep, that's when I went in the Navy.
In the Navy?
Yep.
Okay. And did you start doing that with just practice pieces as well?
Oh yeah, I went to classes, school, you know, just like you would here at the Votech.
And how long were you in school for?
They weren't long duration schools. A lot of them were seminars, but I had one that probably went 6 months.
Okay.
Did some pipe welding. At that same time, when we were over in the Philippines, I certified in high pressure piping.
Okay.
I didn't care for that.
Okay. And when did you get into TIG welding?
In the Navy.
In the Navy, was that the same thing? Just went to a
Basic, yep.
little class, and out of the welding, you think TIG is probably your favorite?
No.
No? What would you say is your favorite welding?
First of all, I love it all. But to me, because I grew up with it maybe, to me, stick welding is where it's at. It's been around for so long, and it will never go away. But there's so many new processes that are just super. But that just sticks with me forever. It's just like it's automatic.
Yeah. Okay. And what would you say was the biggest project that you've ever worked on?
That had to be, actually, I've done a lot of them, but when I was in the Navy, we took the sliding feet off of expansion tanks from the super steam heaters to run the ship and everything, and it was just down underneath. It was thick iron. It was 1-inch plate. Air arc that all off. They rebend them, welded them back on. It took a long time. I'll never forget that. It was just a hot, long job. That was probably one of my biggest ones.
Okay. Would you say that was your toughest job?
Probably yes, because it was so big, but I've done other things that were pretty challenging too. But that was probably, yeah, that was just a tough job.
Okay. And other than the school here, you said you got a shop at home. Are you working on anything right now?
Yeah, I got a couple projects. Got one good one for myself, and then a few people bought seats out of the Metrodome.
Okay.
So I'm making stands for them so they can wheel them around on a patio and that. And then I just got small jobs, got some TIG jobs and just different things like that. So.
Okay. And throughout your work, I'm sure you've had some criticism on some of your jobs. Has anything really stuck with you? Anything that?
Probably one of the things was, especially when I was working with my grandfather, the shop wasn't very big. We worked outside a lot. Winter times seemed like back then the winters were terrible, but there was times where that was tough. Snow, wind, water, cold. Still had to go outside.
Okay. And did you ever think that you failed?
No.
No?
Never have.
Did you ever want to give up?
No.
No? Very persistent.
Kind of loved it from day one. So
Okay.
no, I won't say it.
Okay. And who would you say impacted you most in your career?
My grandfather.
Okay. And is that just because he showed you the ropes, taught you?
That and because he was my grandfather, I guess, but he was just a good person. Heart of old guy, worked hard, worked really, really hard. But yeah, that was good.
Okay.
It had to be him.
Okay. And to finish this up, is there anything that you would tell somebody like me or any of us that are starting up and becoming a welder? Any piece of advice you would have?
One of the main things is you have to decide if this is what you want to do. You can go on and you can switch professions. It doesn't make any difference. But I've seen a lot of guys start out and then they break off. But it's something that you have to really like. And once you get it going, and your first job is going to be a big factor too. You have to like that, like what you're doing, and you just go from there. And once you get established and everything is going, you'll never give it up.
Okay. Well, thanks for your time, Rick. That's about all I got for you.
All right, appreciate it.
All right.